What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Crew Review Show. I am DJ.
This is Rex. What's going on?
We are Groot, and we are talking about Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 2.
We are Groot?
Yes.
We are Groot.
I thought we made that apparent during the first Guardians of the Galaxy, but okay, fine. I'll be Groot all by my goddamn self.
Well, we are Groot, so check out our previous review on the first one. Link in the video description down below, because I can't figure out how to hit click here.
Soon. Alright, so you and I saw this together, right?
Yeah, we did. IMAX too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was epic. This was one of those movies you should definitely see in IMAX.
Yes, and treat yourself. What were your expectations going into this?
Pretty damn high. I thought that, and I was afraid that this movie was gonna be like so let down. But I thought that going in, based on the commercials, I was like, yeah, we're gonna get more of everything we loved in the first one. And sure enough, that wasn't what I got.
Right. You didn't get everything you loved in the first one? Just hammered right down your throat?
No, because I didn't get enough. Like, I wanted more Baby Groot. Did you want more? I felt like I needed more Baby Groot.
I was happy with the amount of Baby Groot I got.
See, that's your problem. No, I'm kidding, folks. I'll get into what about the Baby Groot situation later. But this movie, my first expectations were that this movie was going to be amazing. And no, I'm not held with a gun to my head off the camera. Honest. I'm saying this of my own volition. He doesn't want the blood splattered on him.
New jeans. So, I mean, my expectations going into it, I'm always excited to see any Marvel property. I was both excited and nervous because I enjoyed the first Guardians of the Galaxy because I always felt I always feel that when you're at times when you're blind to the original source material, it allows you to see another perspective to a film. So when I saw the first one, I have never read any of the Guardians of the Galaxy comics. That being said, I loved the first one. I was worried that now because I knew a little more of the Guardians, that was really going to taint what I felt for the sequel. That was not the case. I actually quite enjoyed the sequel.
Yeah.
But there were certain things I didn't like, in which, brings us to our next segment.
Woo!
The good, the bad,
Woo!
and the ugly. Yeah, notice how I pointed. No, sorry. All right, so in this segment, what we do is we'll talk about the good.
Yes.
Followed by the bad.
Yes.
And then the ugly.
Yes.
So let's get things started. Good. What was good for you?
The good, surprisingly, the character development. The character development was really, really on point. I was, in the first one, I kind of felt that they were like, okay, yeah, these are, you kind of understand who these characters are, but you didn't know their background. You didn't understand who it was. You didn't understand Gamora. You didn't understand why Nebula hated Gamora. You didn't understand, why Yondu did what he did. But this movie gave so much in the way of not just character development, but also explanations. So why it is the way that a lot of things were set up in the first one, you had a lot of answers in this movie. And I appreciate that. A lot of sequels, they leave more questions than answers. And this actually did the opposite.
I absolutely agree with you.
But also I gotta say CG. CG and what?
CG whore. I mean, I definitely agreed with you. Agree with you. I thought the fact that you had other characters that they weren't the key focal point of from the original film, they actually further the development on the characters. You find out a lot of Yondu's backstory as to that he was turned away from the other scavengers because he was trading in children. Big no. You find out that the real reason why Nebula hates Gamora is because while she was always in competition, all she ever really wanted was a sister. What else? You also got a good follow through with Peter. At the end of the first one, you find out he's part something else, and then you find out all the stuff involving with his dad. And I gotta say, a lot of scenes that had Kurt Russell. Wow. That had Kurt Russell on the scene. I was, I felt he dominated the screen.
Yeah, of course, of course.
He demanded your attention.
Yes, he did, and that was one of the really cool things about him. He was, he was one of these characters that attempted to be larger than life. I don't think he hit it all the time, but he definitely you could see he tried. And if you're not a Kurt Russell fan, you didn't know what to expect going in. But me, being a huge Kurt Russell fan, Escape from New York, Escape from LA. Yeah, I know there's a trend there. But a lot of his stuff outside of that, he's actually a really, really great actor on screen.
Yes. I mean, I even like to follow through with Rocky. You get a little more into the character development with Rocket. Because,
I think you said Rocky. I was about to be like, I know Sylvester Stallone was in here, but
yeah, he was actually.
He had a name.
To which this is now another film that Stallone and Kurt Russell have done together.
Yeah, glossing.
To all you Tango and Cash fans out there. So, I like the character, some of the character development with Rocket. How he feels, the way he feels misunderstood and stuff like that.
Of course, like why does he steal stuff that he doesn't need? All like that genuinely got answered. The only thing that really kind of didn't get answered was, Baby Groot being Baby Groot. He was just there to be adorable.
And puberty hit him like a bitch.
Ooh. Let's just hope there's no tree sap anywhere.
All right, so that brings us into the next segment. Bad.
I'm gonna have to start with the soundtrack. To me, it wasn't really bad. Every song had a meaning, and I understand that, but it didn't hit me or resonate with me like the first one did. But that's because they were less focused on action and more on character. So the music kind of went with what they were going for, but I just wasn't a huge fan of it. What?
No.
You looking at me like that was me. The music. Also, one thing, Kurt Russell, who plays Ego, was there for a lot of exposition. To me, he had, even though we knew, they showed a lot of the stuff, he had to tell the story. He why he did what he did and how he was and all of that. And to me, it was a little unnecessary. I want character development, but I didn't need them to hammer in every single step of what he did and why he did it. So those to me were probably the biggest two things that kind of.
Okay. I gotta say, definitely. Well, soundtrack. I mean, it was to me, it was kind of hit or miss. I felt from the beginning that the soundtrack from Guardians 1 peaked. I didn't think it was gonna get better from there.
You plateaued. There was no.
Kind of got annoyed with this whole cock tease shit between Gamora and Peter Quill.
Oh.
I'm like, really? Do I need another fucking will they, won't they shit? I'm getting enough.
Yeah, that was probably going to be in my ugly, but yeah, go ahead. Preach on, brother. I was kind of tired of that. That unspoken thing.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much the two things on my bad. Now we get into the ugly.
All right.
Take it away.
The gold everywhere. When it comes,
yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
I love gold.
so the main villains, Scarvarians, I believe. Is that how you pronounce it?
I believe so.
Okay. I'm gonna assume that's it. If I butcher it, whatever. Scarvarians, whatever. They view themselves as perfection. I understand that, but everything had to be gold, and they were completely. To be honest, they were useless to me outside of the first 15 minutes of the film. when you knew that they had did a job for them. But after that, when they kept randomly popping up here, randomly popping up there, just to try to cause a force an action scene that was unnecessary, to me that was very, I just hated that. It seemed to distract from the movie, because the movie, it kind of felt sometimes like the tale of two directors, even though I know there was only one, which I didn't understand. So the first half flowed very, very well, and the second half kind of seemed forced, or like they were running out of ideas. So to me, the second half was a totally different movie, and that's literally how I view it now. After watching it a couple of times, the second half was a different movie done by a different director. I don't care what they say. But yeah, gold everything. I could have did without it.
Okay. My ugly. I was, with the Scavarians, I did get a little annoyed. I mean, I thought Elizabeth Debicki, who played the Queen.
Is it pronounced Debicki? Whatever. Yeah.
I thought she did pretty decent as the head bitch.
Yeah. Right. Well, at the end, when she's licking her wounds and.
But to me, what really was the ugly was the fan service. Because, you had the first movie and it had all these great things. You had Baby Groot, dancing Baby Groot. You had Howard the Duck cameo at the end. You had all this stuff. And then here comes the sequel, and they just all like, what was that? You like dancing Baby Groot? Here you go. What was that? You like Howard the Duck? Here you go. It just started really getting, okay. And to, which I felt, this movie, while I did enjoy it, fell short to beat, the first one.
Yeah, which a lot of sequels do, so you can't really fault it for that. But if they didn't keep hammering home the same things, over and over and over and over again, it would have been, it could have, one, been shorter, two, been, a different feel. Sometimes you should let the audience think.
Which brings us into the next and final part, final thoughts. Take it away, Jerry. Oh wait, Springer doesn't work on this show. Never mind. What are your final thoughts on this film?
My final thoughts is for Marvel's 15th movie. And, in over a decade, 15, of the cinematic. This movie was really, really good. If you really want an explanation for things leading into Infinity War, or even things that lead into the Guardians Volume 3, because there will be a Guardians Volume 3 featuring a Zune.
Yeah. I'm expecting, because they're coming to Earth in the Avengers Infinity War, so maybe Iron Man hooks them up with something better.
Please don't let it be an iPod.
Nah, it's gonna be some Stark Industries,
copyrighted, patent pending. It just coincidentally looks like an iPad.
Not better than an
iPad. So yeah, this movie isn't really necessary unless you absolutely want it for the story or for character development. Odds are you're probably gonna watch it anyway, but this movie really didn't. You don't need to watch this to continue the Marvel Cinematic Universe, unless you want to see the cameo for Adam Warlock. Oh, spoiler!
I would disagree with you on that, for the sole fact that there's certain events in this. You have certain characters that have been brought in that the moment you go into Avengers Infinity War, you're gonna find new characters like Mantis. You're gonna see the fact that Nebula is not now on the side of the Guardians in a way.
They could have did that in the first one.
Yeah, but they didn't. My final thoughts are this. The first one did something that no one thought it was gonna do, and it fucking rocked.
Raked in cash.
Yes. They did a movie based off of a source material that not a lot of people were fans of. and managed to get everyone to rave about it. So you can only expect that sometimes a sequel is gonna fall short. It's kind of expected, and it's kind of one thing I felt I was gonna get. I didn't really walk out the theater disappointed for the sole fact that I kind of saw this going into the film. I do say this, it is a nice little follow-up to see what happens after. If you're a person that loves sequels, it's a nice follow-up to see what happens after the events from the first Guardians. And there's a decent follow-up as well. Does it have its flaws? Yeah, but so do any other movie or any other sequel. So I would say definitely give it a watch, check it out, and let us know what you all think. Hit us up in the comments section and smash that like button. And that's been our...
Oh, you forgot to tell them to subscribe.
Oh, and don't forget to subscribe.
You gotta hit that subscribe button, bro.
Subscribe.
You gotta support us. Yeah. We're not making these YouTube money unless you subscribe.
And that's been our show, folks. I want to thank everyone for watching. Check out Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I've been DJ. That's been Rex. Rex, where can people find you?
Pornhub. I mean, you can find me
on... with Mr. Meeseeks.
You can find me on Rex the Crew Review, at Rex Crew Review on Instagram and Twitter. Yeah. I'm pretty active actually on there now. So
okay, you can find me at DJ of Crew Review on Instagram and Twitter. Oh, don't forget, smash the like button, comment down below, and subscribe. Till next time.
You know what you forgot to tell them?
What?
You've got to tell them that they can follow the show.
Oh,
at
yes.
Crew Review Show.
Follow the show, Crew Review Show, at Instagram and Twitter.
See, what would he do without me?
Probably, have a cohesive conversation.
With the wall. We'll see you later, guys.
Don't insult the wall. The wall be telling me some shit.